Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. My name is Mel Rose, and I'm here to share your daily aspects. Today is Saturday, May 21, 2022. Today is the first full day of the sun's transit through Gemini, and with this shift, our conscious outer life focus and drives come more to embody our desire to communicate, debate, plan, and otherwise share thoughts and ideas. Mercury is currently right at home in the sign of Gemini for a few more days before it appears to back up into Taurus again. So Gemini brings us this mercurial, changeable, even playful vibe to our lives. Mercury itself is retrograde, bringing in a bit of a chaos factor there. So look for plans to change and conversations to be interrupted. It should be easier than usual, however, to remain flexible under the Gemini influence. Meantime, the moon is in Aquarius all day today. Aquarius is our fixed air sign, and that can bring a certain amount of rebellion into our hearts. May we use this rebellion to ready the wagons to carry off any baggage, especially the emotional and physical kind that no longer serves a purpose for us. And I'm going to get right into the aspects, but first I will point out the handcrafted key on the right-hand side of the page. Most of the symbols on the page have made it into the key, so if you desire a point of reference, it's right here. I have otherwise divided the page into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon is the luminary that sheds light on our inner lives. This is your relationship with yourself, what it feels like for you to be in your body, heart, and mind, and in your home. The transits and aspects the moon makes are all very brief, and they have a subtle impact on those things you think, feel, know, and intuit, but may choose whether to express. The sun is the luminary that sheds light on our outer lives. This is the outward expression of yourself in the world, specifically in your work, social, and civic spaces. I address the sun and the rest of the planet's movements on this side because they have a greater effect on that outward expression. And we begin on the moon side today at 10:16 this morning, Central Standard Time, friends. Moon goes square to Uranus. Cancer and Aquarius will feel this the most. Impulsive changes we want to make at home might face some challenges. Square aspects tend to spur us into action, though. So just always try to communicate with those you share your home with about what you're trying to do in terms of changes at home. Then this evening at 9:40 p.m., Moon goes sextile to Venus. Taurus and Cancer are the most affected here. Taurus, Cancer, and Libra, I would say, are the most affected here. It's easy at a time like this to pull in what it is that we desire, especially in terms of attention and affection. The sextile vibe here lends cooperation and likely good outcomes. So ask for what you want from the heart in the home, and you may just receive it. On the sun side today at 2:18 this afternoon, Sun goes conjunct to Mercury. That's right there. Gemini, Leo, and Virgo have rulers here. This tends to put the spotlight on our plans and conversations when Mercury is just direct and the Sun and Mercury are doing their thing, as well as the day-to-day running around that we do. Our focus just comes around to that. But Mercury is retrograde, and the conjunct amplifies or intensifies the vibes. So I wouldn't be surprised if we run into some bigger hiccups at this time when it comes to our ability to think and communicate. This aspect lasts just a couple of days through the 22nd of May. In the ongoing column, friends, Sun trine Pluto is here with us through May 27th. I kind of put these on here backwards today just to see how it would look. Leo and Scorpio, this is probably your vibe. Pluto brings power to our self-expression and intensity to our conscious experience. Thanks very much to these trine energies, there is some positive evolution available to us at this time. We can go into our endings and beginnings fully conscious and feeling good about what is happening. Being in charge of ourselves and what we can control also shows leader that can have an impact, a positive impact on our circumstances and on the people around us. Then through May 22nd, Sun is sextile Neptune, so this is just until tomorrow, or through tomorrow. As always, this transit applies to everyone, but Taurus, Leo, and Pisces are most likely to notice here. This positive, cooperative functioning between our consciousness and our capacity to connect with others, energetically speaking, we can be quite psychic at this time. Write down your predictions. This is also a good time to create from the imagination. I think I didn't complete a sentence back there, but I also think I got all of the information out. So thank you for bearing with me. Next, we have Sun sextile Mars, which will remain in aspect through the 4th of June. Aries, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio have ruling planets here. This influence wants us to feel alive and juiced up with the energy to act, to pursue, and to satisfy our physical drives, lending us power and speed in the forward direction of the stuff we're trying to achieve. I think this is ideal right now because we've been strategizing our big plan. We've been looking at the big picture and hopefully kind of breaking it down into smaller bites, actionable items that we can take care of. This is very much the kind of worker mode for the Sun and Mars. Like the focus is on the work that we have to do, and we really just want to take care of one thing at a time and then move on to the next thing. And then the sun and sextile here is cooperating to hold your focus on those short-term goals that add up to the long-term goals coming closer to us. Mars and Neptune are conjunct just through today. Aries, Scorpio, and Pisces, these two planets have been lending us the drive to act on what we perceive. But the question has been, what do we habitually perceive? So if you're the kind of person who has a negative outlook on life, or you think the world is an unkind place, then we might find ourselves acting on impulses that feel rather paranoid. Whereas if you are the kind of person who tends to perceive the world as a kind place and people as genuinely, generally being good, then we may come to a more compassionate place and find ourselves acting on that compassion. So, this is why it's important to try to train ourselves to have an optimistic and loving outlook in life. Our unconscious biases can make all the difference when we're spurred into action like this. That's an intensification of action with your sense of connection to the humanity around you. So, again, hopefully we've taken the positive perspective and we're acting, and that's what we're acting on. So we don't get ourselves down a whole road of pain and crap. And then also through May 23rd, just a couple more days here, Taurus, Leo, Capricorn, Aquarius, Sun is square to Saturn. Our responsibilities may have been rubbing us the wrong way at this time, or perhaps there are things that kind of keep getting in our way and trying to stop us from the fulfillment of our duties. In any case, we must prevail by doing what we said that we would do, because this is how we gain trust in ourselves and from other people. Mercury sextile Jupiter continuing on until May 28. Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. These two have been sextile to greater and lesser effect since April 27th. This aspect kind of broadens our outlook, okay, expanding our vision right there, lending us optimism and good fortune while we strategize our plans for global domination. These planets will remain in aspect through the 27th. Well, I said the 28th. I'm not sure which one it is. Maybe the 27th. And then we'll revisit these themes again on June 20 after Mercury is out of retrograde. Mercury is retrograde through June 3rd. The apparent backward motion of our planet for analysis and communications has been bringing about some shakeups in our ability to say what we mean and get where we're going. These things are just less easy for us at this time. So go slow, friends. Be patient with yourself, be patient with others, be patient with your electronics, be patient in traffic. Consider it an opportunity to practice watching, listening, waiting for the right moment to move. And then Mercury, Pluto is also, no, and then we have Mercury trine Pluto. Yeah, through June 19th. I know what I did there. Okay, I didn't put Mercury's retrograde in it. And gosh, guys, that's a little bit confusing, and I'm very sorry about it. Gemini, Virgo, and Scorpio would be the Mercury trine Pluto vibe. The guidance here is to pay close attention or listen in a deep way to what our senses are telling us about the endings and beginnings that are coming up and those that are already present in our lives. Pay attention to your intuitive impressions at this time. Trust your gut. It can be very useful in strategizing your approach to those big changes that you're trying to make. And then Pluto is also retrograde through October 8. Pluto's final retrograde in Capricorn. We've talked about this a lot. Pluto has been in Capricorn for over 25 years, just bringing transformation and evolution, endings and beginnings, deep and total change to Saturn-themed things, Capricorn-themed things, like what is tried and true, what is traditional, what seems to work for us, what is foundational to us as we are, and how we do work. So a lot has changed over the last 25 years in terms of how we do work and what we consider traditional or institutional. And this is the final year of it, and this is the final Pluto retrograde. So, we're all going through changes. Pluto in retrograde means we're noticing them more on the inside than on the outside, okay? But understand that we're still all going through these transitions, and we're in this very end, last retrograde in Capricorn that we will ever see in our lives. So, that can be a little bit intense, but we're used to facing this challenge of renewing our idea of what is foundational to us, and we've just got about another year of this. Okay, and then tomorrow we'll see the third quarter moon in Pisces, and Mercury in retrograde will back up into the sign of Taurus again. I keep forgetting to put that on there too. Next week, among other things, the Sun will go sextile to Jupiter, placing emphasis on expansion. Mars makes ingress to its home sign of Aries, boosting our initiative and effectiveness in action. And Venus will make ingress to its home sign, Taurus, putting us in a comfortable and positive vibe with the receipt of those material resources that we like, love, and can't get enough of. And that is it for today's astrology, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for hanging in with me today. Please like my video, subscribe, and click the notifications bell. I post here every day, and I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. And friends, I truly appreciate it so much that you comment to ask questions and provide encouragement. I see you doing it. I am appreciative. I am grateful. But it isn't just gratifying for me to know that you're listening. It lets YouTube know that you're engaged in the content, and that helps me out as well. So thank you very much. Also, if you know anyone for whom this guidance may resonate, I encourage you to share. And now I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk about tarot as it relates to astrology today. First, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll do a quick rundown of today's astrology before throwing a random card that hopefully speaks to today's energies. So, let's get into that. The tarot card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords represents the first 10 days of the Sun's transit through Gemini. So, Swords are the air sign in Tarot. Gemini is an air sign on the astrology wheel. So that's sort of what the link up there is. An air sign is all about the intellect. It's about the words we speak, the thoughts that we think, the plans that we make, the designs we create, and sort of the also sort of actual work, the actual moving around to get things done that we do. So, the Eight of Swords. This looks this card looks a little desolate. You see that gray background. The mood is not very cheerful here, and you see this person sort of haphazardly blindfolded and tied up, but standing, right? And surrounded by swords that are in the ground around them. So, this is really a feeling of, sort of helplessness, or feeling imprisoned, or feeling sort of held up against our will, but it's also an illusion. Okay, this is a feeling that we give ourselves about being helpless, because we kind of believe in our helplessness, or a belief in ourselves of being trapped against our wills, because we just kind of believe in being trapped against our will. So this person actually has the tools that they need at their disposal to go ahead and take care of whatever business they need to take care of. And probably soon, as this person begins to relax and realize that their bonds are not that loose, they can sort of set themselves free. The invitation with this card is to not allow yourself to be deceived by your own fears, or your own self-doubt, or your own self-sabotage, okay? Don't use words and thoughts against yourself to keep you imprisoned. You don't have to do that. You have the power to loose your bonds, get loose of those bonds, and take up your sword, and think and act and plan and speak with the best of them. So that's your warning against self-sabotage right there. And with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and mix up some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Gemini today. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is currently in Gemini, moving retrograde. Mercury is going to go back into Taurus pretty soon here, but Gemini in Mercury, this is like the intense focus of the sun's light. Our conscious lives is really coming around to our thoughts, our plans, our communications, our conversations, okay? We're relying probably really heavily on our electronics right now. We're relying heavily on our vehicles, if we have vehicles. Mercury's in retrograde, so there are hiccups out there happening. People are struggling a little bit to communicate with themselves, for themselves. I had a couple of mix-ups when I was reading the astrology tonight. So just be aware that this is a time when that kind of thing happens, and there are always times when that kind of thing happens, where we can't say exactly what we want to say, or we can't get the point across. When Mercury's in retrograde, we got to remember to listen, though, and that is part of the communication factor with Gemini. Gemini is all about the communication, so that's the mode that we've moved into now. And then the moon is in Aquarius. It's a waning gibbous. It'll be third quarter moon in Pisces tomorrow. So, Aquarius is a little more community minded, but Aquarius is also a little bit rebellious. Aquarius wants everything to go well for everyone, and if something's going wrong for somebody, then we're going to rebel against whatever system it is that's putting them in that situation. So, what system is putting you in a situation of feeling entrapped, right? Now is the time when we are getting ready to get rid of things that no longer serve us. So, think about some thoughts or words or plans you might have used against yourself that you can toss out the window at this time, or get ready to. And then on the moon side of the page today, we had, around 10 o'clock this morning, this impulsiveness, facing challenges, the moon square Uranus. The advice there is always just to communicate with those that you keep close to you about the changes you want to make you know, on the home side when you're making them, so that, you know, everybody's included in that process. And then in the evening, we have this really beautiful sextile energy between Moon and Venus, and that is as sexy as it sounds. If there's some attention or affection you would like to receive, it's 9:40 in the evening. You got somebody there that you like to receive that attention and affection from, ask for it and you can receive. And then on the sun side of the page today, the sun went conjunct to Mercury. That's not going to last long. It's just going to last through tomorrow, but it does put a spotlight again on these plans, conversations, and ideas, as well as a reminder that Mercury is in retrograde. And so we've got these backwards brains that are not fully forward functioning at this time. We've got to do a little bit better job listening and watching and strategizing, right? And then on the ongoing column, look at all that sun stuff that's going on. I mean, it's all about work that we have to do. It's about actions we have to make, but it's also about the connections we have to the people around us. And that's included with Mercury too, our ability to communicate with those people that we're connected to, and also that self-expression that's coming up from the gut, from the inside, those personal transformations that are happening with Pluto retrograde right now. Well, Mercury is trine Pluto and the sun is trine Pluto. I mean, that's really beautiful energy. Trust your gut. Trust what's coming up from on the inside. Trust your intuition at this time to guide you. This trine functioning couldn't be more positive for that. And then that Mercury sextile Jupiter just says, you know, we've got a lot of optimism. We've got a really broad outlook right now. We can kind of see a much bigger idea of ourselves, what we can be, do, and have, what our plan is going forward, and we can be working to strategize that at this time. And with all of that said, I'm going to turn this card over. Oh, we got the Four of Swords. So look how that happens. We got swords and swords, friends. We have an air sign and an air sign. We have an air card and an air card here. And Four of Swords, I mean, it always looks to me like a dead man, right? Like somebody's laid out for their funeral or something. But this is really more of a take a break kind of card. It just says, you know, it's a good time perhaps to get some rest. Perhaps also, you know, perhaps taken together with this card, you know, if you have been working really hard on those thoughts, words, and plans that you sort of use against yourself to entrap yourself, you know, to make yourself feel like you are powerless in a situation when really you are not. You know, maybe something you can do for yourself is to just give it a little bit of a rest, right? Give the negative self-talk a little bit of a rest. Give the self-denial a little bit of a rest, okay? Give the refusing to see your circumstances for what they are a little bit of a rest, and give your self-sabotage a nap. You know, just turn that stuff off for a minute and say to yourself, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from being this person who is so hard on myself, from being this person who really you know, tries to ensnare themselves in these sort of ugly for us traps, when really, you know, I can just be a person who you know, who does when really I can just be a person who sees things for who they are, for what they are, and speaks the truth even to myself, okay? You have to be able to speak the truth to yourself. You have to be able to speak the truth about yourself as well. I don't know how much sense that made, but this Four of Swords really indicates it's a good time to take a rest. And you know, on the moon side today, we had like relatively little influence. You know, we've got this beautiful sextile functioning tonight between Moon and Venus, so that's a nice way to get some rest and relaxation. And you know, if your gut is telling you to take a nap or just take a break from something that you've been working on really hard, then, you know, it's okay. You know, the stuff that you're working on will be there when you come back to it. Even the self-sabotage will be there for you when you come back to it. So give it a break, all right? Give yourself a little break. Be a little bit kinder to yourself at this time. And if you feel the need for a nap, I fully endorse naps. I'm a big napper myself, so go ahead and take one. And I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. My appreciation for your presence here is large. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today.